There was one day when Speaker O'Neill called me into his ceremonial office. And, I was surprised at that, but when I went in, I was more surprised. I saw Carl Albert sitting there and John McCormick. And the speaker said, "Danny, I just want you to come in and meet the speakers of the..." And so I met them, and I wanted to mention this because I felt so privileged to be there, with speakers, and also to have John McCormick tell me, young man at that time, he said, young man, I was in Congress when your prince was a member of Congress. And then he went on to describe the prince, what the prince did while he was here, which is something I never read in books. But to have this mentioned to me by McCormick, was really a thrill. And then McCormick then went on to tell me how we got statehood and told me that how Sam Rayburn was dead against it. And he didn't want it because that Hawaii was way out there and Alaska was way up north, and didn't want it. And so Burns, John Burns, who became governor of Hawaii, was very friendly with LBJ. Now, McCormick is telling me this, and he said that he talked with LBJ to talk to Rayburn because they were Texas buddies, and which LBJ did. And LBJ said, no, the speaker doesn't want it. And so Burns pursued it with LBJ. And finally, according to John McCormick, LBJ told Rayburn, look, if you don't do it, when the Republicans take over, they're going to do it. At that, Rayburn didn't like that. He said, oh, no. He said, no, we do things around here. He said, Mr. Speaker, then you got to let this go through committee. And according to John McCormick, that was the difference. So the next day, the committee met on this, and then we went through the committee, and then came up to the floor. But I never knew that story. And then he also told me about why Alaska went first. And as I said, Rayburn wanted Alaska because Alaska was democratic and would like Alaska to be a state, but not Hawaii. But when Alaska became a state, they couldn't keep Hawaii out. Well, all of that was told me by John McCormick, and I thought, wow, what a thrill it was for me to sit among them and to hear all of this, and that's one of the meetings I really treasured.